All right. Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your engines!
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Remember what I told all my drivers? Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines! And gentlemen, start your engines!
And welcome back to the Green White Checker podcast. I'm Andrew. I'm joined with Austin, Zach, and Joe. I swear to God, Joe, I was waiting for it. You were going to say something.
Hey,
Nope.
I got to.
I was ready to remove
Hey
him.
guys,
Just,
I'm here.
kick him.
Keeping you on your toes this week, boys.
Oh, man. We are going to talk to you about an Atlanta race that, in my mind, instant classic. Like, the whole thing, I enjoyed it. What are your guys' thoughts? Let's go, Zach.
You always start with Zach. What gives with that?
Okay,
man?
Austin.
Your favorite or something? No, I don't even want to start anymore. Zach, you go ahead.
No.
You go ahead.
He just looked
Clearly the favorite. Go ahead.
You know what?
just
No,
here.
Joe.
No, I
Joe,
don't
we
wanna-
want your hot takes.
Oh, I'll save the hot take. I'll save the
Hold on,
take.
whoa, whoa,
I'll
we
save the
got-
take.
Okay, fine. No.
Andrew, what
No.
do you think about the race? You already
There you
said.
go. Andrew, you
Zach,
start.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Instant classic. I fucking loved it. I got a lot to talk about, but honestly, I'm gonna hold it for now. Austin, how did you feel about the race?
I thought it was amazing. I mean, obviously the ending's what everyone's talking about, and that was like one of the best endings I've seen in a very long time. But I think even on top of that, the whole race was fantastic. I thought that there was moving through the field. Like you had guys like McDowell who, made up however many spots he did under green flag conditions. You had guys like cutting up through the field. No one really was able to just stay out front. I thought it was like overall, what more do you really want from a race? If you didn't think that was a good race, I mean, I really don't know what to tell you at that point.
Oh yeah, 100%. How about you, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Atlanta is the new Daytona. Atlanta is what Daytona was, where it was a drafting track, a plate track, super speedway, whatever the heck you want to call it, where handling mattered. Cars were sort of on edge. You had, I wouldn't say tire wear came into play too much, but you could tell the cars weren't driving very well, especially in dirty air. I'd like to see them maybe a little more loose than they were tight, but whatever. They still had to actually drive the car. They weren't just planted there, and I think that's what sort of led to all your passing opportunities. Some guys just had cars that were handling better, and some guys didn't. So it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I said pretty on early in our Discord that they were having, the handling problems and tires seemed to make a difference, even though supposedly there wasn't much tire fall off. But for at least like the first couple of laps when they went back to green, it seemed like those guys could jump up. We saw from Kyle Busch, Michael McDowell, they pit and instantly they're back in the top 5. And it was like, okay, yeah, tires makes a difference. And it seemed like every pit stop after, the guys that took at least 2 moved up for a couple of laps, and it seemed to equalize, once they got some heat in it. But no, handling, setup seemed to actually matter at a plate track, which is weird to call Atlanta, but that's what it is. Joe, you said you had some hot takes in the Discord. We want to hear them.
I'll sprinkle those in throughout, but I mean overall,
You guys shied away from the hot takes already.
He's your-
Oh, there you go.
I got many takes, all of
Okay.
them. They're the best takes.
Okay.
No
I
one has
didn't
better
think-
takes
I
than
didn't-
me.
I didn't do that.
Joe's
Everyone-
line in our Discord was, "I got some takes about Atlanta."
Everyone who's
Y'all
everyone who's-
ready.
Everyone who's
You
heard
wanna
them.
do-
Everyone who's heard
you
them
wanna
says
do
they're
this.
best.
Overall, I thought it was a really great race. But going into the race, I've been a new Atlanta hater. I haven't really shied away from that. I thought we're obviously the old racetrack. Everyone I thought it was good racing. People thought it was boring. That's why they changed it, right? Obviously, it needed
Your comment last week when we brought up Atlanta was, "Is it over yet?"
to be well. But it did need to be repaved. We all agree on that. I was not a fan of them blowing the whole thing up. And after watching that Xfinity race, I was like, oh boy, here we go again. We'll get to Xfinity, but I thought Xfinity was pretty boring. And I just I've not been excited for New Atlanta. And yeah, I know Chase and William have won a few races. That's nice. But my mind has changed. I'm a believer now in New Atlanta. It was a very good race. I enjoyed it. A lot of passing. I think, what was that tweet? Like 6,000 something green flag passes. There's a lot of back and forth with the F1 guys, and that's where that tweet came up. So I enjoyed it. It was a really great race. Awesome finish, of course. And I think it was like late in the third stage where they were 4 wide, 5 rows deep or something for a couple laps. And I literally stood up on my girlfriend's couch. I'm like, they're going to wreck. They're going to wreck. And they didn't wreck. It was insane. Like, that was cool. I love that.
Yeah, I couldn't believe Austin Cindric made it 4 wide. And I was like, okay, they're going to back out of it. And for almost a full lap, we are 4 wide for the lead. And it's just like,
insane.
This is it. This is what we've been asking for. Maybe not at Atlanta, but
yes,
it was good racing. Like,
it's what you
it
want
was
from
amazing
a
to
Speedway
see.
race. That's
It
what you want
is.
from your Daytona and Talladega, which we haven't been getting with this car for whatever reason. You go off and make a huge list of all the reasons why, but the fact is the Talladega and Daytonas just haven't been that great. In Atlanta so far, like every race has been a banger. So
I mean,
it seems like
you had different strategies even running too. Like you had the Penske guys staying out and doing a completely different pit strategy, and that working out to a degree for them. And then you had obviously the close action racing. You had the tire wear. You had the where tire wear actually mattered on a super speedway. Like, when's the last time that really was a huge factor for a super speedway? You had wrecks, like lap 2, so you had that kind of action too for the wreck hounds. And I mean, truly, I can get into the complaints I saw people about. I don't want to get into the negatives too quick, but I thought it was a banger of a race. Best all season, I would say.
Yeah, so we should have known this race was going to be amazing right off the bat when Michael McDowell gets his first ever pole.
Really, that's my hot take. That was the best race of the season so far.
Of the 3 we've had.
Yep. 2 points.
That is the joke.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. But Michael McDowell gets a pole, first ever for him. I don't remember how many starts, but it was a lot.
400 or something,
man.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna get my flub out of the way, my Fox flub out of the way right now, if you don't mind.
Do it.
Go for it.
So my flub of the week was like watching qualifying was triggering to me because I don't know if anybody else watched it.
That was so.
It was awful. But continue.
Just the layout of the screen pissed me off to begin with. So I'm already in a bad mood. They had the screen split up into 2 halves, and on the top half was, with the largest portion of the screen, was their stupid 3D model that took up the whole top half of the screen. And then the bottom screens, this bottom portion of the screen, they split into 2. They had I think they had a camera on the driver and then like a roof cam or something like that. So the 3 worst views, the 3 things I don't give a shit about are all on screen. Show me the car running around the track. I want to see the driver driving it. It was just so frustrating. And then they kept doing full screen stats. I forget what driver it was. It might have been, I don't know. It doesn't matter. And they just take up the whole screen with the stats of the driver. Why do you have to do that? Blocking everything and just having stats. But what really set me off was you see Michael McDowell running his pole lap, and they show him going through 1 and 2, and then halfway down the backstretch, they cut to freaking Joey Logano's in car, and who's his crew chief? Paul Wolf. And so they have Joey Logano and Paul Wolf taking up the whole screen.
Sitting there.
Just sitting there waiting for their reaction. Meanwhile, you completely miss Michael McDowell getting his first career pole.
You hear it cross the line. You hear the car finish its lap and get on the clutch or whatever, kill the motor, whatever he does. And you don't even see it. You just see freaking Joey Logano's crew chief. Oh man, it's
rats. Why?
Someone replied, some nondescript Twitter user replied and said, "Here it is, Jordan." I'm not even going to try that last name. Jordan, Eastern European last name. Imagine getting your first pole and the camera ain't even on you.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's laughable. Like, obvious. Like, if we talk about, our theory, not even hardly a theory at this point, that Fox uses their brand new production crew for NASCAR so they can train their way up to get to the big sports. And for qualifying, they got to use the rookie crews, like 4-year-old children, for the production crew, because that's the only way you get it bad.
You get kids in the AV club at the local high school to come out. And
Yeah, the kids that they film on Sunday,
Middle
and show
school.
clips of all race, are the ones running the production on.
That's
qualifying.
why.
Yeah,
Makes sense now. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
out.
Makes
Checks
so much
out.
sense.
I was just
It
like, why?
blows my mind.
Why?
Like, how do you sit there in the production booth and say, you know what people really want to see, as this guy comes across to take the pole for his first ever time? We want to see the guy. We want to see Joey Logano and his crew chief sitting there.
I mean,
watching. That's
the bitch of it is, it's like insulting the Michael McDowell. What you're saying with that decision is that Joey Logano's reaction to losing the pole is more valuable than you getting the pole time.
Yeah,
You
That's
know
what
what
that says.
when a good time to do that would be after you show Michael McDowell
Have a camera
to the
on there.
pole,
Yeah,
show
that's
replay.
great.
and then show the
Exactly.
replay. Like, I don't need the live reaction. I don't
Fox
care
would-
about
What's
the live reaction.
In Fox's defense, they're not really sure what a replay is. So I mean, I
true.
get that.
But
yeah, why not?
I'm watching it again, and the like, as when I first watched this, I'm like, oh, because on the left screen is Joey Logano sitting in his car. Just, you can't even see his reaction. You can see his eyeballs. Like, you just see him sitting there. And then on the right side is McDowell's lap. And at first glance, I saw some like, oh, okay, they got McDowell's in car as he's taking this lap. And then I look again, I'm like, that's not McDowell. That's Joey Logano sitting in the pits, just staring. Like, how is that entertaining for the viewer? And then literally as he's entering turn 3, like, yep, all right, you know what? Screw the lap itself. Let's show the crew chief. Anyway,
It's worth noting Drake is particularly triggered by this because he has been a McDowell fan for a long time.
Yes.
And he and the opposite of that, a Joey hater for a very long time.
Yes. The others, you're going to make me miss out on my favorite driver's first ever pole to show my least favorite driver sitting in his car.
Least or second least? Where's Cindric rate?
Oh, good question.
Right now, Cindric number 1. I got Cindric's my least favorite.
What if it was Cindric and Logano sitting in the car? Cindric's got the bow tie on.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move on. Fox.
Let that out of the way.
Yeah, definitely one of their major flubs.
Horrible.
But before, the race on Sunday, we get the news that Joey Logano is getting penalized for SFI.
I think
that's right.
For his gloves. Nobody knew exactly, like, right off the bat, but soon after, Fox came out with a nice little video showing this guy's got freaking webbed gloves. And then I don't know if you guys know who, I think it's Braylon, something like that. Was an ARCA driver. They call him the Pizza Man. He brings up a video from last week at Daytona where Logano gets the pole, and what does he do right afterwards? Takes that left glove off. It's like, huh? Okay.
Cheating Penske's.
Yep. So I think he got what, a $10,000 fine. He got a.
Do you think he should have gotten more?
Yes.
Do you think that should be?
You know what?
That should be equivalent to modifying the car.
I don't know.
What did there was a Xfinity guy last year that got a big fine for not wearing his, was it baklava?
I forget the
that
name.
That word. He got a giant.
I
remember that. Or was it
25,000 or something like that?
Another one where
wasn't that Smith? Wasn't that Chandler Smith that got that?
Yeah, I think you're right. But I don't know. I just feel like $10,000 is a little small, especially for a Cup team. But you did get the on track penalty of starting at the rear and a drive through, which ended up being his saving grace, I feel like, because we had a lap 2 accident. But I don't know. I think it's ingenious. I really do. Like, whoever thought that up, pat him on the back. It's a good idea. But I don't know. When I first heard of it, I was like, okay, it's a good idea, but why don't you just have some like in the car that he can stick up there, and then when he's done with his lap, it's out the window. Yeah, catch
Right.
me now, you know.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I thought it was a great idea for them to have web gloves.
and
I hate the guy.
$10,000 to them ain't nothing, so worth it to them.
Yep, and they had a decent. Well, no, they ended up in a wreck on Sunday, so it cost more money, but whatever.
Yeah, bummer.
Well, maybe if Joey Logano wasn't trying to block all the way to the wall.
What? Joey would
Not-
never do that.
Not clear,
Yeah.
Joey. Not clear.
What do you not understand about not clear?
Yeah. But so should we just get into the race? Lap 2, we get a big old wreck when I don't know, they're blaming Gilliland for trying to let McDowell in. I don't know. It is
Never.
what it is.
It'll never be their fault.
Racing.
Actually, unbiased opinion, not their fault.
Definitely not. Definitely not biased there. I mean, I don't know. Did he do it? Was he trying to let him in? Yeah, probably. And it caused a stack up. So I don't know. Do you blame him for that? I don't know.
I blame it on the spotters more.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. It is annoying because it took one of my guys out, so I was pretty annoyed. But other than that, it's just whatever. I was kind of like, oh boy, here we go again. Like, here we go. This is gonna be a shit show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But
I thought so too.
but it did get better, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it damaged a lot of cars, but only took out Josh Williams, who, man, this
Big
guy's had a horrible start to the season, and Christopher Bell didn't make speed, I believe. So he ended up.
He was out there running for a while. And
I saw them like right after pulling
he
into
was
the
out there for I'll
garage.
have to look. I think he ran quite a few laps and then they like pulled him in once he couldn't like make up any more spots or something like that. I thought he came out for a while. Let me look. Is there a place where I can see like laps down or something?
Probably just I don't know.
Atlanta. Oh
But-
God, I don't know.
Josh Williams had some nice things to say. You know, he mentioned that he thought he left the ARCA series, which I found hilarious. But he just hopes that he has better chances in the future, which I think we all do. I'm a Josh
I
Williams
agree.
fan. So
Oh, for sure.
he's run 2 play tracks and been taken out, lap 6 and lap 2.
Yeah.
So
When
Stop.
did Gregson get wrecked out?
Was that the first one? I thought he got. I
Did he
thought
get
he was
wrecked
in
out the
that
first one?
wreck.
I
He
don't
was
remember.
in it.
I'm just asking.
He was in it. I don't know if that took him out.
no,
about
he
Zane
was
Smith?
later in it. I honestly don't know.
I'm only asking because to go back to the Seabell thing, he finished ahead of Zane Smith and Noah Gregson.
Yeah,
So that if
not
they were out for a
100%
while, then
sure.
that would tell you how long Bell was up. But I don't see anything that says like laps.
He was 112 laps down, so he did do
Yeah, so they
a
brought him back
decent
out.
amount.
Yeah, and ran.
They can go in the garage and come back out.
If they meet minimum speed, he made minimum speed after the
Oh,
accident,
and then went in.
and
Okay.
then went in for mechanical repairs. After you
Gotcha.
meet minimum speed, you're fine.
Gotcha. I thought once you went behind the wall, you were done. That's
Nope.
old.
As
rule.
long as you come out, that's what screwed Bubba the one year. As long as you come out and beat minimum speed within so many laps, you're fine. You're off the clock and you can go behind the wall and fix whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So he did come back out. I didn't see that. I just saw him pull behind the wall after a couple laps. I figured he was done. That's my bad. What do we feel about just the overall part of the race? Like, we had a lot of cautions, it felt like. We had some solo spins. We had Busher spin under it was a commercial break, but it was, I don't know,
I liked it.
30
I mean,
laps in.
I like the single car spins because that tells me these guys are having a hard time, which is what I
Mhm.
want. You know, I don't want them out there just you go to Daytona and Talladega, you just feel like they're sort of out there for a cruise for a while. They get put on autopilot. Like, I want these drivers to have to display their skill. So if they're having a hard time and having single car spins, that's great. I don't want to see cars wrecked. You know, I'm not a fan who just likes to watch for wrecks, but seeing guys struggle, you know, that's something I enjoy just because, again, it's showing their skill, how talented they really are.
Yeah, and I thought there were a lot of cautions. I don't feel like it was a caution fest though. Like, it didn't feel
Yeah.
like a truck race or an ARCA race where it's just like, good, like learn how to drive, guys. Like, please
Right,
stay
like
off
the
each other because you
truck
had like
race last week.
yeah, exactly. So then you had like the 4 wide racing. So like clearly these guys were like, good drivers. Meanwhile, if you try to go 3 wide in trucks, I feel like you just get demolished.
2
no
wide's
matter what.
risky.
Yeah, even that's risky. So I thought that it was a healthy amount of cautions. And then I think something that as I'm sure it's been talked about somewhere, but I saw a tweet. I think we may share in Discord or something about the guys, people who watched the NASCAR documentary, then said, okay, let me try the Daytona 500. Daytona 500, good race. They're like, okay, well, like I'm going to keep watching. I mean, how about this for a second race you're watching ever of NASCAR to keep the momentum going? So I think that, like, especially for a casual fan, like, I mean, I'll admit, whenever I was not super into NASCAR and I was watching races, and I was like, why haven't they wrecked yet? Like, that's why I'm watching, is watch the wreck. So, I mean, obviously you don't want a slew of fans in the sport who are just in it for the wrecks. But, I mean, that's entertaining, like that's a lot of action they're getting for their second race ever to watch. So, again, like that feels kind of like a hot take. Like, cautions are good for the sport. Like, wrecks are good for the sport. But I mean, come on, like who doesn't?
They are.
Who doesn't like
100%.
watching this? I mean, like, well, I'll admit it. Wrecks are entertaining. It's like, but like I said, that's not why you want people in the sport, just for the wrecks. But I mean, if that's going to keep them entertained, then let's keep them entertained. Like, but also not the expense of good racing. And this is what I'm saying, is it was a good mix of two. It was good entertainment and good racing product at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah. Some of the wrecks were just products of, ill handling cars. Like I said, we saw Buescher spin by himself. We saw Brad Keselowski get tight. We saw, just handling problems. I think Truex hit the wall by himself because he lost air in the front end, and it was kind of nice to see. I think maybe it wasn't so much ill handling cars as much it was like air problems, because I think it was like if you saw 2 cars pass each other real quick, the guy in the back would get spun around. But no, it's great to see. And when they announced this new Atlanta, and I'll be the first one to say I hated the idea of having the 1.5 mile plate track.
We all did. There was nobody who said this is a great idea. Not a single person.
Yeah, but no, it's worked out, and it seems the more that this track wears in, we're 3 races in now, or
I will.
5.
5. This is the 5th.
5. Yeah. I will still say, though, with as much as a win as I think Atlanta is, and how it turned me from a hater to an enjoyer, I don't want to see this at Texas. I still don't.
No.
I think they did a great job with Atlanta. I like it. I'm okay. I don't love super speedway racing to begin with, so having 3 on the schedule, 3 different tracks, 6 races is kind of a lot, especially when they're in the playoffs. But I don't know. I just don't want to see this at Texas. I'd rather see like a good 1.5 mile style reconfig. Like, I saw something that ended up being I got Adam slurned. But it sounded like a decent idea. I can't remember what it was, but it was something about like shrinking the size, like what was it, 1 1/3 mile or something like that, or 1.3 mile, and sort of changing the bagging. I don't know, something like that. I wouldn't want to see this replicated again, but it's going to be a tough sell to tell them not to do it.
I think that's the fear with that race being so good, is if these keep being really good, it's not going to be like, well, let's do this with all the.
How they love to kill a good thing. I always look at like the throwback weekend is my sort of.
Yep.
Our only hope for Texas is that Charlotte is good as a normal 1.5 NASCAR. So just put Texas back to old Texas, or make it Charlotte. And I also don't like that. I don't think a lot of people do. I don't like Atlanta back to back with Daytona. They need to switch, or maybe move Sonoma up to this slot, and you got Sonoma, Vegas, Phoenix. You got your whole West Coast swing. And then, because we saw the pictures from Sonoma today, they're freaking beautiful. Repave and green grass. Do that.
Or how about this? We just nix the Daytona 500 and make it the Atlanta 500.
Hey, I said that. I think let's do it.
Yeah, I think this
is brother.
A clear example that we need to make that jump now. Let's start pushing.
Don't do that, though.
Yeah, I mean, my only concern, and it's sort of like a counterpoint to what Drake was saying, about bringing the new fans in from the Netflix special and having them watch Daytona and then Atlanta, and then it's like you see this kind of racing for a new fan, and now we're gonna go to Vegas, which will be good, but it's not gonna be like this. And then I think after Vegas is Phoenix, which just won't be good. So
Yeah.
it's like you sort of have this big ramp up of like expectations of like, this is NASCAR, and then you're going to show them Phoenix in 2 weeks.
Right.
So I don't know, but
Yeah.
I don't know what you do about that. I think what we need to do a better job of, and well, when I say we, like the broadcast and stuff, and I think NBC does a better job than Fox, obviously, but explaining why those races are exciting, like trying to find what makes a Vegas or a Phoenix interesting or exciting, and just do a
What
better job of telling the story.
So just you mentioning that, I found it kind of funny during the Atlanta race. They didn't ever dumb it down for the new fans. Like they've been doing for years, where it's like they'll explain just the most, you know, minute thing, like, oh, the car goes fast because it's got 4 tires that have air in them, but they're not talking about that in Atlanta. They're not talking about that it's, the super speedway package and they're meant to be this close together. Whereas if you go to Vegas next week, it's not going to be like that. Hopefully it's still good racing. We've seen really good racing at, Vegas, Kansas and such, but I don't know. It was weird to me. They just didn't dumb it down. I mean, Clint was in the booth, so you figure it would happen, but it didn't. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
David makes a great point in the comments. I think we should run half the field in the opposite direction. So thanks, Tony Stewart. I appreciate it for the input.
Yeah, there you go.
I will say, kind of on that joke, obviously you're always going to have your naysayers for anything ever, even a race as good as that. I mean, Jeff Gluck's poll got a killer 94.8%, but the fact it wasn't higher than that is kind of shocking to me. The main stuff I heard about it was, one of the replies to Gluck's tweet said, voted no because a great finish doesn't mean a great race. Stupid. You clearly didn't watch the whole race because,
I mean, that's a valid point, but yeah, you didn't
Right.
watch the race.
for sure. That's a very valid argument for very many races that people will say that was
Right.
a great race because all it was a good finish.
There's some green,
not-
white, checkered finishes that are like that.
Correct.
Where
And
the
then,
race sucked, then you have that.
yes. And then our absolute favorite Twitter personality, Brian Murphy, said, this is entertainment, not motorsport, insinuating that it was purely entertaining because of it being entertaining, I guess.
You shouldn't enjoy racing,
yeah,
guys.
guys, come on.
supposed
I
to be
don't watch it
miserable
to
and boring.
enjoy it.
Yeah, this is why Formula One's so much better, is because it sucks to watch. So you really have to appreciate motorsport to get it. It's like it
It's
feels like
somebody's
it's-
telling you like you can't eat, like I feel like that way with alcohol sometimes. Like people think if you you have to have a terrible tasting drink to enjoy alcohol. It
Right.
has to taste like ass in order.
Well, it's
for
like,
you
or it's
to be
like,
good.
you watch Rick and Morty? But you're not smart enough to really get it.
You don't get
though.
all the
You
references.
just really don't. You just don't get it. It's haha, funny, butt jokes, huh? But you don't really get the meta behind that.
Right. You really have
just,
to.
you just really got to get into it.
You have to have a graduate degree in physics to really comprehend some
Right.
of the
And
subtle
he
jokes
works.
and
He works
details.
for RFK. He works in NASCAR again too. So I don't.
I thought he
No, he worked for
It's still in his
SHR. He doesn't
bio.
anymore.
He
No,
did.
it says RFK Racing in his bio.
Yeah,
It says
I don't know
RFK
what.
now?
yeah.
Oh.
I thought
Yeah, he was Stuart Haas, and then
he was Stuart Haas, and he.
I thought he
quit.
left NASCAR altogether.
that was a mid-season, wasn't it? I thought
It
he got
was
fired.
last year. I
don't
don't
know.
know. I just know he was not
He's
with them
this-
anymore.
So he's with RFK now. I don't know. The guy's annoying.
It just
I think
feels. It
half-
just
most
feels
of the
like
stuff he posts. It's clickbait.
It is.
It's got to be. And then on top of that too, I feel like it's casual fans thought that race was great. People who like to hate things that are popular thought it sucked because all it was crashes and 4-wide racing and a good finish. And then if you actually go a level deeper than that and you actually appreciate the sport for what it is, you can say, oh no, it was entertaining because of that, but also because strategy was involved, tire was involved, the difficult to handle cars was involved, everything like that.
Right.
So to call it just entertaining, again, that could be a completely valid argument for a wreck fest at Talladega or something. Sure, that's purely entertainment, not motorsport. Sure. But this was not that at all. So the people who are saying that clearly just didn't watch or pay attention. It's wild.
Like you just, I don't understand how you can watch that and not say, like, yes, it was insanely entertaining because you were seeing these guys just go absolutely nuts and they're nailing it. Like, I mean, who was it? Was it Austin Cindric that went 4 wide and Kyle Busch goes 4 wide underneath him in the middle of a corner at Atlanta? And
Yeah.
then I think Todd Gilliland tried to do it and he couldn't quite do it, but they all held 4 wide.
Yep.
You had, of course, the finish with Suarez, Busch, and Blaney, 3 wide coming out of 4. None of them wreck each other. It was a clean finish. Like it was racing. Like, yes, wrecks happen, but I'm pretty sure that happens occasionally in a race. I mean, I get it. I get not loving super speedways everywhere because I'm like that. I'm sort of the cynic with super speedways. But as far as super speedways go, this was amazing. This was a really good super speedway race. So I don't know. He just has to shit on everything. Like, okay, we get it. You know more than everybody, so
there's always someone. And the guy I saw on Gluck's thing who was saying that great finish doesn't mean a great race. He started it, but said, I voted no because I'm old enough to watch Speedway racing when it was actually great. And it's like,
back when Dale was racing.
When Richard Petty won by 8 laps, that's when I watched, and it was the best racing ever. It's like
that's what they all say.
It's like it's
NASCAR
always it's the people who like just like to hate because they think it makes them look smarter than going along with the crowd. But really, it just shows how dumb you are by not like making a good response and thinking that race was bad. Because there's no way you could watch that race and said it was bad. I'm sorry.
Well, see, and that's the thing is this ran like a late 90s, early 2000s Daytona. The track was slick. They were moving around. They could pass. They could drive 3 wide. And I mean, it was perfect in my mind as far as the plate track goes.
Right.
I don't know what other people want to see. This was an amazing race. We haven't even said really, about the finish. We haven't talked about it. What a fucking finish. Daniel Suarez beats Blaney by 0.003 of a second. That's close. That's enough to be
third
closest
place
in NASCAR
was 0.007 of a second.
Yeah, insane.
That's ninth on the list. Like, that's 3 cars within 0.007 of a second. That's bonkers, right?
If only Kyle Busch,
like that.
If only Kyle Busch had stuck his tongue out like Lightning McQueen, he might have won.
Yeah,
which you're gonna make that joke.
I thought like
it's all over Twitter. Of course, he's gonna make
it. Is.
Yeah,
it's all over Twitter. But because that's the thing too. Like, obviously, Brian Murphy's got to stick up his ass, but like literally it seemed like everyone, even non-NASCAR fans, ESPN, Barstool, all these big publications were tweeting about it, and like obviously they had to use the car meme, but like cars meme, whatever. But like it was on SportsCenter top 10.
it was the thing. They did the thing.
Yeah, and it was like it made news evereverywhere. And
so how's that bad for the sport? You know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly.
Go back to Brian. Like, okay, this terrible race, it's awful. It's just it's entertainment. Well, maybe that's a good thing sometimes. Like,
no, the race was entertaining. Oh,
you got a bunch of new
and I think that's
the thing. We said it last year is we think they made the schedule like this to have these new documentary fans come in and watch 2 plate tracks right off the bat. And Daytona was a Monday, so that kind of probably hurt some things. But this race was an absolute banger. And those fans are going to come into this sport and be like, fuck yeah. Like, I've been watching fucking F1 because I watched a documentary, and this shit sucks. I'm going to watch NASCAR now, And
now it's
welcome.
If I'm NASCAR, I'm leaning on Fox saying, you find a way to tell this story at Vegas. Like, now that's on Fox now. I think you're right. I think new viewers from the Netflix thing, they're all hyped up on NASCAR. Now sell them on the other stuff we do. Because I mean, the great thing about NASCAR is how diverse we are in our racing product. You got super speedways, you got road courses, you got short tracks, you got your intermediate tracks. Like, I was thinking about today, like trying to think, is this the best race ever kind of thing? And it's like, it's an apples to oranges comparison, just because nothing in NASCAR is the same. Like, you go watch F1, all the races are the same. They're all road courses or street courses, which are basically road courses. So it's like they all sort of have the same product, where NASCAR has all different types of products. So now you have to sell those different things to these new fans and get them to buy in, maybe long term.
You're really going to sell for Phoenix. I'll tell you what.
Well, and Marcus Smith needs to get out there and be like, hey, look at what Atlanta, my other track, did. You should come to Vegas. which I think last I saw it was pretty much sold out. So good for Vegas.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
dude, this is just a promotional video that wrote itself, and I think we're gonna, die in 50 years still seeing this video shown because
Mhm.
this isn't gonna happen again. What we just saw, like I said, instant classic.
Mm-hmm.
This is 2003 Darlington. This is any of the Talladegas that are close. Daytona with Martin and Harvick. We're gonna see this forever, and we should. Like, NASCAR should use the hell out of this. But yeah, as far as my favorite ever, no.
No.
I think third. It's up there, but I
Yeah,
am
definitely
putting.
top.
I think I'm putting Darlington up there, and I'm gonna put the 2012 Watkins Glen up there. That's honestly one of my favorite last lap battles ever.
I mean, right there, you just named two different types of racing that are completely different, right? Like, just going back to our different types of products, like there's just so much choice. Like, it's apples to oranges. You can't really compare Darlington to a now Atlanta. It's tough. So I mean, it was
Yeah.
definitely one of the greatest super speedway races. I'll give it that, at least in recent memory.
Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna die in 50 years. How old are you, Andrew? I'm old enough, Brandon. If I make it 50 years, fuck yeah. Like,
Yeah.
good for me.
It's way
30.
too
I'll
long.
take 30. Sorry. But yeah, I don't remember where I was at. But no, good for Suarez. We have talked during the off season. We talked in our preseason podcast. He was on the hot seat. Obviously, they brought in SVG and Zane's and Spires / Trackhouse car. So they're putting pressure on Suarez. How do you
still
guys
think he's on
feel?
the
Do you
hot seat?
think you want my reaction?
Yeah, why not? Well, we're asking Andrew first.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. He's
Yeah.
still on the hot seat. I think he needs to win at least 2 more races this year, or he needs to make the final 8 in the playoffs.
Yeah, one win doesn't get you out of there for sure.
He's got to win. Like, I hate calling it luck, but he's got to win on a normal 1.5 or a short track that, I don't know. I'm not saying it wasn't lucky that he won. It was in the right place at the right time, but I don't know. He's got to win a couple skill tracks, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even a road course, if he wins, that's good.
Yeah.
But damn it, Zach.
Sorry, I've been waiting all day to make that joke.
Zach made a funny joke in the Discord. It's great.
Anyway, sorry.
I was like, what did I say? I didn't say anything crazy.
No, you're fine.
Sorry. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Suarez, hot seat.
Suarez,
Oh, yes,
our hot
yes.
seat, yeah.
Yeah, continue.
What do you think?
I think he's still on it, 100%. And I posted in our sheet. I don't know where it is. Over there.
I don't
A quote
envision
from-
necessarily
Oh,
a
you're gonna read
situation
it?
where Daniel is not a driver for Trackhouse Racing.
Right. So
That-
nothing in that
it's so
says he's
open-ended.
driving for the 99. He just says not, driving for Trackhouse Racing.
Right.
So
Xfinity ride, something like that. Like,
Xfinity ride, maybe trucks,
Yeah.
who knows, whatever. I mean, Justin Marks is a crazy businessman, always doing all kinds of goofy stuff. So I mean, and who knows? Maybe he's trying to get a third charter or something like that. Justin Marks makes bold moves. But that was like a very non-committal answer that
Yeah.
doesn't say he's in the 99. So I 100% still think he's on the hot seat. And I mean, Justin Marks also said this isn't like an audition for Suarez, but let's be honest, winning and performing well certainly helps sell sponsorships and gets you
Right.
a seat. Like, you can't deny that. So I think he's still on it. I think he still has to perform this year, especially if Ross goes out and does Ross things and gets wins and all that stuff. So yeah, I'd say he's still on it.
Okay. So, yeah, it's just tough. Trackhouse, Spire, they both seem to be expanding. They got this little partnership going. They could easily move him down, but I don't see SVG. Maybe I don't see him moving up, but that's my mind. Not yet. But
Who else do they got though? Don't they have they got
Zane,
that Zane? They got that Connor Zillage, but what's he doing?
oh yeah,
That's too soon.
he's
He wouldn't be ready to move up like next year.
no. I don't even know what he's doing because he's not running bush races. I don't think, and I haven't seen him in a truck ride. Maybe that'll start, at Phoenix or something. Maybe even this week at Vegas. But I'm excited for Connor to see what he's doing. I think he'll be a good talent. We saw him in the MX5 Cup, so
Isn't he running their late model or something? Did I see that?
that wouldn't surprise me.
Doesn't Trackhouse have a late model? I don't know.
Right.
It's hard to keep track. Again, Justin Marks is a crazy businessman doing all kinds of crazy stuff all the time. So who knows what he's doing?
Kyle Marks
But-
reminds me of that guy, Justin Marks. What did I say? Kyle Marks? Anyway, Mr. Marks reminds me of that guy in high school, like drops out to be an entrepreneur and then just like has all these, like tries to say, oh, man, dude, we're going to start this like our own business and stuff. And like just starts like spewing out these crazy ideas and completely convinced he's going to do them. And then obviously doesn't, but Justin Marks is like the guy who's actually doing it. But he just kind of carries that vibe of like, why are you wanting to open a bar? Like, like you have a race team and I want to open a track house bar. Like it's kind of weird, weird kind of ventures. But hey, it's work. I mean, it's working. I'm a fan of it, but it's just kind of fun. It's got that vibe.
So through 2 races, Todd Gilliland leads the Cup Series in laps led. He led 58 laps at Atlanta, which is the most ever by an FRM car.
You bet you placed that bet beginning of the season, right? That he'd be the laps led leader after the 2 races.
Yep.
I know before Daytona, I said that he was a good plate track driver. I mean, there it is. It's there.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. But I mean, FRM's just shown speed. Obviously, again, 2 plate tracks in a row. Let's go to Vegas. Let's see what happens. McDowell kind of ran really well at these kind of tracks last year. So, we'll see where they're at. I don't know if the 36 cars are running at all, but
I got Penske power now.
Yeah.
Apparently that hasn't fully.
That's what I heard.
Which is interesting for them to come out this strong and not have the full backing yet.
They have to at least be getting like their A-tier motors now, right?
You'd think it's been enough. It doesn't take any time to put in a motor.
Or if they even had like, your A-tier motor and B-tier motors, whatever they have in their inventory, like you'd think these 2 races, they would definitely be bringing out the A-tier motors. Especially if that partnership didn't really, fully activate yet, you would think you'd want to use those now, being that these are your best tracks and best opportunities for success. So,
right.
Yeah, and we've seen that team pretty much committed into going full out on super speedways and road courses just because that's their best chance of winning. So,
yeah.
Like I said, we really don't know anything about what this season's going to be like. We haven't run an actual race. We don't know what Ford is. We don't know what Toyota is.
Chevy's won everything.
Yeah, 6 races total in all the series, and it's Chevy in every one.
Yep.
So,
and if you go back, they won 2 of 3 championship races too. So 8 of 9.
Yep. So, did you write this, Zach?
What? Maybe.
Oh man, that's
new points leader.
Yeah, baby. Who else would write that?
Yeah.
New points leader. Kyle fucking Busch. Let's go. By 1
we are
point.
2 races in. 2 races in.
Listen.
That's about as useless as nipples on a dude.
I don't care.
Like,
let me get hyped.
What is the point? Okay, good for you. You're hyped.
Thank you.
And I mean, we're going into his home track, so I don't see him losing it this week. But
Speaking of points, SHR back to negative points on a couple other drivers.
Dude, how can they cheat so often and still be
That's
so
like they're got to be their 4th or 5th time. I think they got busted in next gen. It's crazy.
Like, you would think if they were cheating, they would have Hendrick speed and just be walking everybody.
It was like when Briscoe got.
They're getting all these penalties and fines to run fucking 22nd.
Like when Briscoe got bopped at the 600 last year, and he was running like he was getting lapped by Rick Ware cars in the first stage.
Yeah. Yep.
What are their contracts like? Like Briscoe and Priest, and I mean, I know obviously Gregson and Barry.
I can pull that up real quick for you, but
they all got to be on the hot seat. Where I mean, not Barry and not
Nah, them
Who the
guys are
fuck's
good.
Yeah, but Briscoe and Priest, what have you shown?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I mean, the
if
only thing I can
Custer
think of
comes
from
out,
Priest was fast at Martinsville one time, and then they had a pit stop. They made some weird strategy call or something. He lost track position and he sucked. Briscoe does have a couple wins, but is it a couple or one? It might just be one. Yeah, just Phoenix. So yeah,
yeah, and then his Indy and the Xfinity series.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I think Barry and Gregson will be sort of your barometer on that. If all of a sudden these two rookies come in and they give you a hard time or they're outrunning you, then there might be some conversations going on at SHR about some
Also,
restructuring.
Real quick, speaking of Stuart Haas, when Barry wrecked, I don't know if I was the only one, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's Harvick wrecked. Like I know Harvick is announcing, but I saw it before. I was like, that Harvick? What the hell?
I did that at Daytona when we got spun in the pits. And I was like, oh, what? Harvick got spun. Haha. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's not Harvick.
Still getting used to that one.
I actually like this guy now.
Right.
Yeah. So I mentioned it a little bit before, and we all always bitch about Fox, right? It's a weekly thing for us. Fox is awful.
We're very fair.
So we've matched up the MRN and the Fox, and I'm going to have them side by side here. You're going to hear Fox first, and you'll hear the MRN. I just want you guys to hear which one's better. You ready? Here we go.
Love it.
Where does he block? Does he block high? Does he block low? Here it comes. Kyle Busch to the middle. Shooting a gap. No help with Kyle Busch.
Oh, Suarez right alongside him. 3 wide. Off turn 4. Here they come to the flag. 3 abreast. Photo finish.
I think it's Blaney. Unbelievable. 3 wide finish. Have you ever seen anything like that?
Scoring.
Finish is under review.
And Suarez. A big-time push from Bubba Wallace to Kyle Busch. Wallace looks inside. Busch right up to Blaney's rear bumper. Crossover move. Kyle Busch up high. They're 3 wide for the lead. It's Daniel Suarez up high with Busch in the middle.
3 wide for the lead here in Atlanta, coming back to the start-finish line. Blaney down on the inside, and Ryan Blaney looks like he's going to pull it off by about 2 feet here. Now they're going at Daniel Suarez. They're going to credit with the win.
All right, so both the videos were the same length, right? Obviously, the MRN, or was it PRN now? They call Suarez as the winner. He seemed surprised, like really shocked there, but
yeah,
Fox didn't. And it's just one of those things like, why? Why did Fox, this major network, not get this right away? You hear it say, oh, we're reviewing the finish, but it still went on for a while before they announced that it was Suarez. Also, I was going to say, when we were talking about Suarez, he was one Bubba screw up from losing that race. So
yeah, he
was. Bubba didn't push in turn 4. Blaney's getting that push, and Blaney's winning that easy.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think obviously the MRN, PRN guys have more, they have to describe everything that's going on. Like, so obviously they're going to say more or whatever. So that's not really my main complaint with that difference between the two of them. It's just like the energy level, man. Like, yeah, Mike and Clint do get excited. Like, oh, it's 3 wide photo finish, but it's like, it just feels super manufactured. Which, it kind of is, I guess. If you're broadcasting, you've been there all freaking day, all weekend, and now you're having to get pumped for this into this race. But like, yeah, you need to get pumped into this race. It feels kind of muted, and like PRN guys been there probably just as long, and they're still mustering up that energy, So it's just like, it's, maybe if they even treat it like radio and just describe what was going on, that'd be better than just kind of the dead space of there goes Busch. Oh, who's gonna get it? And it's like, come on, like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's just like from like turn 1 to turn 3, Fox was just like, oh, look at them go. Oh, Kyle went up, and then there's I don't. And this is just me being particular, but I just find it weird that Mike said 3 abreast instead of 3 wide. That just is weird to me. I don't know why. I'm like, just say 3 wide.
Right. This isn't you want the best guy on 3 abreast. Like, it's not. Just say it.
I don't know. That's me being picky, but I found that funny. But yeah, it's just like you don't have obviously
sort of like a Mike Joyism. He sort of like
said, gotta Have that
sorta-
thesaurus ready.
He says things in a different way for some
Yeah.
reason. I guess I don't know,
Right.
whatever. 800 years of broadcasting experience. I don't know if you want to hear
Uh-huh.
like a really good racing call. Like I would just like Lee Diffie is like one of the best.
Hmm.
You know, ever listen to like one of the IndyCar races or like IMSA races he's calling or whatever. Like he just does a great job. And I don't know, maybe Fox should think about hiring like a PRN MRN guy, right? Like maybe that would be the move to sort
There's
of.
NBC does that, don't they? Whenever they do the radio style broadcast for like a road course, they get Bagley on
They
there.
have Bagley on
Yep.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe you bring on a guy full time who's from that area to kind of help build that excitement because, like you
Yeah.
said, they're
Yeah.
sort of used to that. Because you're right. I think there is like they are describing word for word everything they see they have to describe because they're
And
describing somebody's not watching.
every bit of entertainment comes from their voice,
Right.
like describing what's happening. If you were describing it like this,
Mhm.
obviously there'd be no excitement, even if there was that kind of finish. So they have to bust that up. So why don't the TV guys do that? Because yeah, sure, we can see the race and it's exciting, but how much better is it when you have a commentator in this? Like whenever Dale Jr. We got a car on the wall. Like,
Right,
as
it
much
makes
as
it
we
more
mean
exciting.
that, it makes it so exciting. Like Dale actually seems like he's engaged in the race and excited about it. And they Fox or whatever posted the behind the scenes of them watching that finish, and they're clearly excited. Like they get up out of their seats, like they're excited for it.
Let me hear it.
But I want to hear it. Like just get a little practice blowing that up. I mean, when I did iRacing streaming, everyone kind of does that a little bit. You get a little bit of a stream voice of you kind of overplay stuff that happens. Do that. Like I can do that. Why can't they do that?
I mean, I think it's
Get me
sort of
on
the same
there.
psychology behind like a sitcom and like why a sitcom has audience laughter. You
Yeah.
hear laughter, so you find it more funny.
Yep.
It's the same thing. Like, I mean, you have your commentators getting excited and are interested. That makes it more interesting and exciting for you as a viewer.
Right. Yeah, 100%. Lot left to be desired for that, but we all know that.
Yep. Before we move on from the Cup race, we had Denny Hamlin's solo spin through the grass on the front stretch, and caution came out for that. But then we had on the back stretch during pit stops, McDowell get into Byron, and both of them spin out, no caution. How do we feel about that? Is that Drake?
Yeah, I mean, I think like when I saw that solo spin, I just don't I don't know. I get he could come back up on track, and that's probably why they say they have to throw it there. But the intent of the reason I've even thought about this was it feels like the reason for cautions now sometimes is to not get a driver completely out of the race because they spun like that. They spun like that, throw the caution, like that way he can get back bunched up. Sometimes that's what I feel like they throw those cautions for, not that there's actually danger on the track. He's spinning the infield, he's not coming back on track. His trajectory is towards the just like straight through, like through the grass. So I get he could hit the wall hard and you need a caution for that. I get he'd come back on track. You need, in case he does start moving back on the track, you need the car slow down for if that happens. That just feels it feels like sometimes we're excessive with the cautions. And then you see that, and then you see guys wreck entering pit road, blocking pit road entrance to a degree, coming back on track. Like William was like on the banking again, like trying to get back up to speed, and no caution for that. It just felt really inconsistent to me I don't think that many people were upset about the Denny caution. I wasn't upset about it. It's just like it feels excessive to throw a caution for that to me, but then to not, then counter, juxtaposed with or in contrast to the lack of caution for the other one just felt weird to me.
Yeah, if Byron wasn't partially on the racing surface, I'd say fine. Yeah, it is what it is.
Right.
But no, he backed up onto the racing surface. I felt like it should have been a caution. But I mean, I get it. There's pit stops going on. It might screw up the race, but that's racing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know. I would like consistency. How is one a caution and the other one isn't?
Right. A car solo spinning the infield is a caution, but then the
two cars
McDowell
spinning
Byron thing.
isn't.
Right. 2 cars spinning on pit road entrance and slightly coming back up on track, even slightly. I'm like, okay, that's more than Denny was on track when they did the caution. So I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of that, of the McDowell Byron thing, what do we think of the pit road at Atlanta? I think that's the only thing that's kind of like meh
It's fine
to me.
Feels like a necessary evil. Like I
Would
don't
you do
love
anything to
it.
change it?
Nope.
I think it's fine. I like how they have the different rules for green flag and for caution, and it's. I mean, imagine coming off a turn 4 trying to hit that pit stop like at speed in a pack. Like you're not doing that. Like safely.
What do you think would happen if it could be an absolute disaster, but if they still had like the same commitment cone location, like you still had to commit before turn 3 coming down the backstretch, but there was no speed limit.
Somebody's wrecking and going up on track.
You think so? You don't think they'd back it
100%.
down a good bit?
Nope.
Hmm.
Nope. Somebody's gonna push it. They're gonna do Larson at Phoenix last year, and they're gonna fuck
What was
up
Larson do at Phoenix
and
last year?
hit the barrels. Was
That
that
was at
Phoenix or
Homestead.
was that Homestead? Nah,
That was Homestead.
whatever.
And that was because he
Same thing.
ran into Blaney. He's gonna run over Blaney.
Yeah, because he was too fast. But somebody's gonna mess up eventually, and it's pack racing. You don't want them going up on track and LePage in the field. So
I mean, you almost had that with the speed limit.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the 90-mile-an-hour speed limit, and they were running over each other. So
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
'cause
What if you
some of
could
them
make
hit it
that
and some of them
slow
didn't.
down less abrupt? I guess
Nah,
is my question.
I'm leaving it. Maybe make it a little faster, but I don't know. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad. You're an idiot, Zach.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Joe.
Joe catching straight.
Okay. Cool.
All right,
Chase
let's
Elliott
go to the
too.
Xfinity race. That was awful.
It was. I
It
agree.
was honestly one of the worst races I've seen in a long time.
I turned it off halfway through.
Dude, you didn't miss anything.
No, it was dog shit.
The one thing that was like, okay, maybe we're gonna have a good fuel mileage race here at the end. No, green, white, checkered, and then everybody just ran out of fucking fuel.
But
And
here's
the guy
my
that led the
bitch.
whole race didn't win.
Here's my bitch about the Xfinity race. Everyone that said the Daytona 500 sucked because they were saving fuel, that is exactly what your Daytona 500 would have looked like.
Yep.
Had they not been just super saving at 60% throttle, it would have been that exact same thing.
Yep.
So everybody who said it was Daytona 500 is super boring, I expect you all to be huge fans of that Xfinity race.
Yep.
Yeah, they need to change the package for this car at that track. Jesse Love, 157 laps led, comes down to green, white, checkered. He runs out of gas. Austin Hill wins back-to-back races now. And
Woo.
Yeah.
I saw a picture. Somebody. So if it was Austin Hill and Bobby Hill next to each other, and I can't get it out of my mind now.
I was gonna say Bobby Hill wins 2 in a row.
Like, oh my god, they're identical.
Yeah.
I can see it now that you mention it. But
I saw a couple like that. I forget what the other ones were, but that one was the most accurate.
So the most exciting thing they didn't show on TV, Kyle Weatherman and JJ Yaley's crew chief got into it. It was more the crew chief coming up and just putting hands on Weatherman. But yeah, I don't know. The crew chief is suspended. I don't know if there was a fine with it or not. And I don't know what it was about. Something about touching his car. But I don't know. It is what it is. Truck race. It was the usual truck plate track shit show.
Sure
I don't think it was
was.
that bad, was it?
It was
I watched
pretty
it.
bad.
I don't
You
remember
liked
anything.
it because Kyle Busch won the race.
No, I mean,
You got them,
genuinely
you
doing
got
the
them
race, I don't
binders
remember
on. You're
anything.
like, this is awesome.
I don't
It
remember
wasn't.
anything that was like as bad as like Daytona. And maybe that was it. Maybe I still have Daytona in my memory, so I was like, oh well,
It
it's
was
an
better,
improvement.
but it still wasn't great.
Like I just don't remember it being a complete shit show.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I'll say that much. Like it was better than the Xfinity race, 100%.
And yes, I did 100% watch that race only because Kyle Busch was in it. You know, people talk about how Cup guys shouldn't be bushwhacking in these lower series. I'd be curious to know how many people watch them just because they're guys running in the lower series. Like
Probably a
I
lot.
literally only
Right.
watched because Kyle was racing. Next week, Christopher Bell's running for Tricon. Kyle's running again. I'll watch the truck race because them guys are in it. If they weren't, I wouldn't watch it. I'm curious. I don't know how you would even track that, but I wonder how many people are like that.
I bet it's a decent amount. Truck race. We saw the no practice bite Christian Eckes right off the bat, brake failure. I shouldn't say right off the bat. It was during his first pit stop. Sounds like they left a line loose or something like that. NASCAR let him go back on the track though and run some
Weird.
laps. Yeah. Crew chief and driver got called to the truck afterwards, the NASCAR hauler. But I don't. How are you going to let somebody you know has brake failure go back out on track
Who isn't
and
named
run
Chase
laps?
Elliott?
Yeah, I don't know. It makes no sense to me.
Huh?
Just checking if you're here, Joe.
I'm here.
Barely. He's
What'd he
falling
say, Joe?
asleep. Yeah. Repeat it word for word.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird call.
So, one thing we need to talk about, Bailey Curry loses his roof. He's running fourth. Roof blows off. Complete convertible looking.
That was so weird.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it. But
Right, Keselowski.
we saw
yeah,
last, I think it was last year, truck race at Homestead. Was it Zane Smith?
Smith.
You could see his windshield was bowed. And instantly you're like, what the fuck's going on here, right? He ends up getting disqualified from the race because of whatever the hell. I think this is happening again because we also saw Lane Riggs get disqualified from this race for windshield modifications. And it sounds like it's missing screws.
It sounds like what they do is they make the braces that hold the window up intentionally weak. Like they make them to fail. So then they cave in and the window caves and they get downforce. So what probably happened with whoever that was. What truck was it? 41 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what probably happened was that happened and then air got underneath the roof and then whoop, there she goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're trying to say that he hit something on track and that's why it happened. But I want to show you guys something. If you're not watching our YouTube, make sure to go to YouTube, the Green White Checker, or the GWC Pod, and subscribe to us Tuesday nights, 8:30ish or 9:30 Eastern. We record and all that, and you can comment and talk to us. But I'm going to show you here. This is Bailey Curry's truck, right? Roof's missing.
Hit something. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Missing screw. Missing screw. Missing screw.
They hit a screwdriver, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Four spinning screwdrivers that somehow hit the screws and unscrewed all of them.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah. And we saw this at Harvick's car too last year at Dega.
Yeah, I remember that.
Harvick has played some windshield games a couple times. I forget where it was. Was it Atlanta or something? I remember years ago, before they had like the disqualification policy, but he had like a rear windshield that was like bowed in like crazy. I remember seeing pictures of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they play all kinds of games.
Yeah.
Every team should be looking for some kind of advantage, but
Yeah, that's
losing your
what
whole
sports built
freaking roof, like, come on, man. All right.
That's
So,
fun.
Joe,
Shedding weight.
I know
What's
you
up?
had mentioned the TV viewership for Atlanta. Do you have that handy?
Let me.
It's like
that.
4.5 million viewers.
Where did I post? I post that in general. Where?
Yep.
Or did I post it in pod chat?
Is it an info dump?
Pretty sure you put it in general.
Yeah.
Because I
General.
thought, why is this not in pod chat?
Yeah. Or info dump. It's weird.
I'll
But-
find it here. I'm sorry.
So it's up. I know that much. I think it was 3.5 mil last year, and we're at 4.5 mil this year.
All right, I got it. So Fox got 4.5, up 5% from 4.3. Most watched sports event of the weekend in the United States.
Was it 4.3 the fall race or the spring race?
It was Fontana, same weekend.
Up for the equivalent weekend last year. Yeah.
I believe the Atlanta race last year was at like 3.6 or 3.5. So that's a huge jump. I mean, really big. Million viewers. So
It's huge.
But I'm going to take us into our boomer of the week. So
Boom, boom, boom.
JC posted on Facebook about the viewership, and we get this guy. I cross out his name because it's his business name, and honestly, how are you in business? But
We don't want to promote idiots.
we're down from 70 million fans, guys. 70
no.
million.
70.
That's a big drop there.
Damn.
70 to 4.5.
I would love to know where he got that number from.
Yeah, where'd you get Over the course of an
Yeah.
entire season, maybe 70 million. But
Yeah, it's what Daytona had the max at like 13, I think, at one time, and like I don't know where he's getting it. Maybe for the whole season, 70 fans, but this one race, 70 million down to 4.6.
Just making shit up.
Yeah, 100%.
That's my favorite thing to do. Go to Twitter replies, just say some random shit.
it's the best.
Source,
Yeah.
trust me, bro.
My sources that I made it the fuck up.
It's going to kill count. Brad gets 2 more. Ross gets 1. It's a long list. Logano's getting 2. Hamlin's getting 2. McDowell gets 1. Kyle Busch
No.
gets 1.
I don't think McDowell gets any. Unbiased
No, he
I'll
opinion.
get
didn't check out William Byron.
Kyle doesn't get
No.
one. Kyle doesn't get one.
Kyle 100% gets one. He
No, he
spun
doesn't.
somebody out.
No,
100%.
he did not. He still got the lucky dog, which means he was not involved in the wreck.
No,
It
he just
is-
hit the guy.
Yeah, I'm just telling you NASCAR rules. He did not wreck the guy. Otherwise, he
He
would not
shouldn't
have
have
been
got the
eligible
waiver.
for lucky dog. He
He
got
shouldn't
it.
have got it.
You got
He
it. So you
shouldn't
can't
have
give it
gotten
to him. You can't give it to him. You got
Josh Berry gets 1 for taking out Carson, which is what it is. Let's move on to Vegas. Steve Bell, we already mentioned, he's going to run for Tricon. Zach's actually going to watch another truck race. That's 2 in one season. Like,
it. 3.
Damn.
This will be my 3rd.
oh, you watched
Tripled
Daytona.
Your viewership last year.
Yep.
Whew. Okay. Will Ford finally break through and get a win? I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean,
It's not gonna
well,
not gonna happen
not
like
gonna be-
Chevy.
Chevy
Not
won
easy.
everything, but Toyota won the Clash and both duels. So Toyota showed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Ford hasn't done anything yet.
They won
That's
the
the thing
pole
is
for
like they
Daytona,
have.
yeah.
They won poles, but like I
Yeah.
mean, that doesn't
They
get you in
don't
the playoffs.
finish. Like
No.
they dominate races. Like at Daytona, they dominated. They didn't finish. They dominated Atlanta. They didn't finish. Like Brad, Busher, McDowell, Gill, and Logano. I mean, all these guys were up there, and they were Blaney. They were running fast. But what happened? They all wrecked out or got caught up in some shit. And it's just they're not finishing.
So so they didn't do anything yet. Isn't the right way to say it? They haven't gotten results yet.
Correct. So
But now
It's
we're going to
possible.
Vegas, which I think we all think is
It's
the
a
type
Chevy
of track
track.
this car is built for, right?
it is 100%.
So
Yeah, just those body lines screams mile and
we're
a half
expecting
speed.
them to be fucking rockets this weekend.
But I don't know if I'm gonna. You can expect it from their first mile and a half. You know, this is gonna be their test, right?
It's true.
I don't know.
See how good their simulator is, I guess.
We've seen Toyotas run really well at this kind of track. We've seen, I mean, Chevy's notorious for winning at Vegas, so I don't know. It is what it is.
We'll see.
Yep. Let's move on to Survivor. Fuck, I got last. There was one time in this race, I looked at it, it was probably halfway, and I went, hell yeah, I'm going to get another win because I don't remember who it was. Like Harrison Burton and Corey LaJoy are laps down, and Eric Jones is like struggling, and I'm just like, easy. This is easy.
Yeah.
Last. Fuck yeah.
Whoops.
I'm going Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch.
fucking
All
Busch.
right.
Winners home
New
track.
NASCAR Cup Series points leader, Kyle Busch. Good pick. Love it.
Thanks for the reminder there, Zach.
I just want to make sure you didn't forget.
How could we ever?
So let's see. Andrew was
Austin.
last. Drake with Jones 25th.
You know, I think I'm gonna go ahead and burn one of my Hendrick picks just because they did well here last year. I think we gotta go Willie B.
Ooh.
Willie B.
Ooh, William Byron.
Can use a first power pick for this season.
There you go.
I mean, besides McDowell, of course, that's the most powerful.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I meant power Chevy pick. That's what I meant.
Power Chevy, yeah.
Yeah.
And then me, I had Harrison Burton. No, I'm sorry.
No, I
had Corey
did.
LaJoy. Yeah. I was
Joe.
reading down the list, not by name. I had Corey LaJoy, who had a great day at a P13. So I'm going to go Ford, but I'm not going to bet on a strong Ford. I'm going to go Cindric, Drake's favorite driver.
Love him.
See if that new Ford body does sort of show up this weekend, but I'm not burning an actual really good Ford driver. So
All right.
So,
that'll be.
I guess that leaves me, who had
Yep.
Burton. Let me. Gosh, this is tough. Give me.
Chase Elliott done.
No,
Yeah.
give me. I'll burn a good Ford pick. I'll do Joey.
Kyle Larson. Oh.
Much I hate to pick it. He runs well at Vegas, and
He does.
yeah, we'll see what Ford can do.
Okay. So I think that'll wrap it up for us. I got nothing else to talk about. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe wherever you can. Helps us out, gets us views, and all that fun stuff. So
thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Rate us if you're
Yeah.
listening on a podcast platform. Give us
Yeah,
a good
come on.
Give us a nice little review action. We love
That'd
it.
be cool. That was so awesome.
and make sure to fill out a OnlyFans question for us.
Yes.
We've been lacking the last couple of weeks, so get those in. I'm gonna on YouTube put it down in the description. Make sure to click it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tweet at us. Do anything. We want your questions or whatever or
Mhm.
takes. Give us your hot take. We'll talk
Right.
about your hot take.
We'll take opinions.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I love you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Green White Checker Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. For more from the boys and the podcast, be sure to follow us on Twitter at the GWCpod for the podcast, at biggelstv for Zach, at shakendrake_TTV for Austin, at picksbyfitz for Andrew, and at J_Sully10 for Joe. Head over to thegwcpod.com to submit a question for our OnlyFans segment. Thanks again for listening, and we hope to catch you again next episode.